Good evening, everybody. It's Cutler, and we're here on the Let's Talk to Cutler platform. It's December the 8th, 2020. It's Tuesday, December the 8th, and I only have 1,800 seconds with you all tonight. And I want to make sure that every second is significant, every minute is meaningful, and every moment, I got to capitalize on every moment, you all, and make sure that it too is meaningful. Listen, we have some things that we really need to discuss, that we really need to talk about. And it's so good to see all of you all as you're coming in the room. I want you to do me a favor. Go ahead and do a thumbs up. Click on the conversation. Let's do a thumbs up. And that lets me, it makes me encouraged. And it also lets YouTube know that, hey, I like the content. I like what they're discussing over there. Ray Dale, my friend, it's good to see you. And what I'm going to do in just a moment is to shout out the LTTC VIPs for the evening. So let me see who's going to be the top three people to join me over here in the chat room. If that's you, I'll shout you out in just a moment. But again, do me a favor, go ahead and do a thumbs up on the conversation. And if you're new, if this is your first time, go ahead and do a subscribe. And after you subscribe, do me a favor, click on that little bell down there. It just sends you a notification to let you know whenever I'm on, whenever I'm live, whenever I've uploaded any new content. So that way you can stay updated with whatever this Let's Talk to Cutler platform is pushing out there on YouTube. All right. Again, thank you for whatever space you've allowed me to share with you, whether it's your living room, your dining room, your bedroom, your kitchen, your car, whatever the space may be. Thank you so much for sharing that space with me. I don't take it for granted. So again, I want to make sure that every moment is meaningful, every second is significant. And of course, you all know what I say here. I only have 1,800 seconds. Of course, as you know, we're basing our conversation and all of our chats from this book. We're basing it on this book, Billboards to Better. This is my seventh book. If you don't have it, run on over there to Amazon.com and get it, or go over to my website, www.gbcutler.com. I enunciate because sometimes people will transpose the letters, but it's Cutler, Cutler. All right. Again, we're going to go ahead and get started. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in and for chiming in. And again, in just a moment, I'll shout out our LTTC VIPs for the evening. But you know how we do. Every Tuesday, we'll take a look at our quote from Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And then when we get to Thursday, we'll take a look at the quote for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Saturday, as I often say, is all day your way. Take that quote, use it for a conversation starter, use it as a part of your meditation, whatever you'd like. But please take a look, use it. I think it's some pretty decent stuff, some good stuff in there. All right. Thank you all so much for joining me. And we're going to get started with our chat for the evening. All right. And I want to see what you all think of a lot of these things that we have to talk about. I wanted to make them relevant for what we are going through, what we are experiencing, i.e., we're in the midst of the holidays. We are still in the throes of this pandemic, this health crisis. And I want to see where your hearts are, where your spirits are, where your minds are. What are you feeling? What are you processing? And how are you coping, especially with those who are around us? You know, when we first started this conversation or this Let's Talk to Color platform, we were in the midst of the pandemic, and it was about how are people feeling? How are people processing this? And we didn't want to leave anybody out. As I often said, no, not on my watch. We didn't want to leave out the elderly, so we did a segment for them. We didn't want to leave out the young folks, so we did a segment for them. And we talked about being true to what you were feeling and what you were experiencing. So again, I want to make our conversation a little more relevant this evening as well. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and turn to our quote for December the 6th. How about that? All right, our quote for December the 6th. And it says, and again, go ahead and y'all chat in the conversation room and chat with others and chat with me as well. All right. December the 6th, it says, strive to strike a balance between belief and behavior. Think first, think second, and do third. Think first, think second, and do third. And I want to share the backstory or the behind the scenes look at what was going on or what I was thinking when I wrote that. Have you ever met people who in their speaking they tell you one thing, They tell you the things that are important to them. They give you all of their valuables, all of these principles, things that are important to them. But in their behavior, they turn around and do the complete opposite, or what I call the antithesis of what they hold to be true as a value or belief. It's what we call in the South talking out of both sides of your mouth. For, for example, if honesty is important to you, it seems to me that you would think twice, at least twice, before you decide to tell a lie, if honesty is important. If that is one of the things that you tout as being important, honesty, you have to at least think twice before you decide to tell a lie. If communication or communicating is important to you, it seems to me that you would think twice before shutting down a conversation or putting up walls when others are speaking. If integrity is important to you, it seems to me that you would think twice before you try to manipulate somebody. So for people who say things like, honesty is important, integrity is important, communication is important. If those things are important, it seems to me that an individual would think twice before doing something that is the antithesis of the principle that they just touted. It doesn't make sense. So if being true to your religious conviction, if that is important, then it seems to me that you would strive to reflect in your behavior those principles and those tenets that you hold so dear to your heart. This is about making sure that your belief and your behavior are congruent. That's what this is all about. In other words, your behavior should reflect your belief. I got to shout out our LTTC VIPs, and then we'll keep on moving. But our LTTC VIPs for the evening are Raydella Lewis, Yvonne Jones, and J Song for you. It's so good to see you all. And of course, Mom, it's always good to see you as well. All right, we're talking about our quote from December the 6th. And I'm going to keep on talking because I think initially, as you read this quote, it might seem to address people who respond and who speak impulsively, people who speak without thinking. But I don't think, oh my goodness, you all, I don't think people have so much of a problem with impulsive responses as they do with hypocritical responses. Am I right about that? You all let me know if you have a problem with, if you have more of a problem with impulsive responses or with hypocritical responses. Because I'm thinking if we are going to safeguard our character or our dignity or our integrity, one of the things that we cannot be is a hypocrite. Cannot be called a hypocrite. And whether it's unfair or not, we know the truth of the matter is that people expect a certain behavior from people who express specific beliefs. They just do. They hold us out to a level of accountability when you tout your beliefs, when you express your principles, when you say what you stand on. They really, really do. If you say, for example, if you say that you are vegan, they don't expect to see you sitting at a table eating a ribeye steak. They just don't expect that. If you say, if you say that you support PETA, people for the ethical treatment of animals, they don't expect to see you walking around in the middle of winter with a mink from your neck to your ankles. They don't expect to see that. And if you say that fair or not, and if you say that you are Christian, they don't expect to see you engaged in certain behavior and treating people all kinds of ways. They don't expect that. People expect our beliefs and our behavior to be parallel and in alignment. That's what people expect. And I get it because some of the key words that I've gotten from young people, some of the key words that I've gotten from young people these days, there is a recurring theme that I'm hearing. And many of you all know that I've been in education. I've been teaching since 1987. I've been in education. And some of the recurring words that I hear from young people, guess what they are, you all? Authentic, organic, genuine, and real. Those are the words that I'm hearing from young people. And they should not be words. They shouldn't be only words that other people expect from us, but you all, they should be words that we expect out of ourselves. I expect myself to be authentic. I expect myself to be real. I expect myself to be organic and genuine. And I'm sure you do as well. Because at the close of each day. This is for me. And you all know I get on this platform in these 1800 seconds and I share with you all at the close of each day. You want to know what really warms my heart and makes me glad? It's when I can review the day and know that I've been true to who I am. I've been true to what I believe. I've been true to the principles that guide my life. One of the things that I never want to wake up and find out about myself is that my life has been a lie. Absolutely not. I don't want to wake up and find out that my life has been a lie. So while this is my quote, you all, it is also my principle and it is my practice. I think before I do. So, what is the moment of encouragement that I have for you all tonight? Don't deal so much with people who are inconsistent because you don't know whether you're dealing with person A or person B. I'm not a fan of necessarily cutting people off. But when people have been around you for a long time and you still can't quite determine the person or the personality that you're dealing with, do not put yourself through all that psychological and emotional trauma. You don't know whether you're dealing with person A, B, C, or D. That is the twist and that is the turn on this moment of inspiration. When you're dealing with somebody and you can and you're on pins and needles and you're trying to figure out how do I deal with this individual? How do I handle this scenario? How do I prepare myself for this situation? Because I'm dealing with somebody whose belief and behaviors don't line up. What am I saying to you? You might want to think, you might want to consider that as a candidate for ejection out of your immediate circle. I didn't say your life, but I said out of your immediate circle. Because you all, can you imagine how many marriages would have been saved? How many friendships would have been maintained? How many business ventures would have been sustained? And how many careers would have endured if only people thought before they did? And this quote simply says, strive to strike a balance between belief and behavior. Strive to strike a balance between belief and behavior. In other words, think first. And I write in here, think second and do third. Put a whole lot of thought into what you do, you all. Put a whole lot of thought. It's so good to see all of you. And again, if you haven't done so, please go ahead and do a thumbs up on the conversation. I'm encouraged by your being here. Again, we're reading from Billboards to Better, 366 daily sources of motivation and inspiration along the highway of life. All right. And I'm with you all. Some people, I'm reading the comments. I'm with you all. Some people you just got to let go. You really do. Because as I have often said on this platform, our peace has come with a price for a whole lot of us. My peace came with a price. And I learned how to construct very methodically with a lot of energy. I learned how to place every brick in my life that has built this space that I call peace. And when you're dealing with individuals and you don't know from which perspective they're going to come at you and they have the potential to destroy what you built, candidates for ejection. Candidates for ejection. Some folk you just got to let go. Let me go on, you all. You know I only have 1,800 seconds, so I'm going to go on to December the 7th, all right? But that is my moment of encouragement to you all. Learn to get rid of some people, all right? December 7th. If you stop insulting your integrity and diminishing your dignity, maybe others will stop challenging you to compromise your character. Oh my God, this is loaded. We're talking about integrity, we're talking about dignity, and we're talking about character. If you stop insulting your own integrity, if you stop diminishing your own dignity, then maybe other people will stop challenging you to compromise your character. I know that's a loaded quote. I get it. That is a loaded quote, but that is a quote for December the 7th. And you all, I wrote this. Let me tell you why. I wrote this because I find that we sometimes beat ourselves up. And as you know, I am not a proponent for being your own worst saboteur. Absolutely not. I'm not a proponent for that. Hey, it's good to see all of you all. And sometimes while you're beating yourself up, you all, get this. You're in the midst of beating yourself up. Did you know that others will join the fight and start beating you up as well? And while they're beating you up, and then you look around and you ask them, why are you fighting me? Why are you beating up on me? And they say, because you were beating up on yourself. What are we doing? We are destroying our own integrity. We are demolishing our own dignity. And when people see you self-destroying, they'll jump in and join the fight and start beating you up as well. You look around and you say to them, what are you doing? And they said, I'm just joining your fight. What fight? Your fight against yourself. They say, you are already engaging in self-inflicting harm. I don't need anybody else harming me. I don't need anybody else harming me. And I'm telling you, you all are about to get, I told you all, I grew up in the South, in the country, and you all are getting ready to get a real countryside of me tonight. Really, you are. Because as I wrote this, I was really thinking about my Southern upbringing and some of the things that I used to hear. And although this particular quote sounds maybe just slightly a little more elevated, a little more elegant, but I'm telling you this, the truth of the matter is this, you all, people will never stop paying pennies for you until you stop selling yourself cheap. People will never stop paying pennies for you until you stop selling yourself cheap. You're impugning your own dignity, messing up your own integrity, and then you wonder why they challenge you to compromise you all. It's because they see you fighting yourself. And I've discovered that sometimes people won't abuse you until they see you abusing yourself. And one of the things that I want to inspire us to do tonight, you all, is to stop abusing yourself. Stop self-sabotaging. I'm telling you all. Think more highly of yourself. Let us all think more highly of ourselves than the negativity and the toxicity that we sometimes allow to filter in our spaces. Let's think better. And if we're already at a level of thinking better, let's grab somebody else by the hand and join them to say, come on, we have got to think better about ourselves than this. I'm telling you, I see somebody say that's the Southern coming through with mac and cheese, but I'm telling you, that quote, what it says, stop selling yourself. People gonna still keep trying to buy you for pennies because you're always selling yourself cheap. Gotta stop that. There are times, you all, if I may be honest, there are times when I've told myself, if you don't want to be thought a liar, think twice and don't lie. And I know it. There are some mean-spirited people in our lives, people who will talk about you, people who will say some of everything, but sometimes people will not impugn your dignity and assassinate your character if you don't allow it. Let's not allow it. Absolutely not. We're cleaning out 2020 and going into 21 with a clean slate. Some things we're not going to allow. No, you don't get to impugn my dignity. Why? Because I'm not doing it to myself. You don't get to beat me up because I'm not beating myself up. You don't get me to try to compromise my character. Why? Because I'm going to defend my dignity. I'm going to strengthen my integrity. So no, you don't get a chance to mess up my character. Absolutely not. I know it. Listen, you all, I know this. Have you ever, y'all, I'm telling you this. This is what I know to be true. I know some people who are constantly asked to do shady things and undercover things and all kinds of nefarious things they are asked to do. But that's because people have seen them do these things. And then they get upset when people ask them to do all these kind of shady things. Well, they don't see you do shady things, and now all of a sudden you're upset because they ask you to do what you do. People will challenge you to compromise your character when they've seen your character already in a compromising situation. Good God Almighty. People will challenge you to compromise your character when they've already seen your character in a compromising situation. What are you saying, Cutler? You cannot live like a demon and expect people to treat you like an angel. You cannot. People will treat you like the thing that they've seen you present to them. Yes, they will. And if all they know If all they know you to be is a backstabber, a gossiper, a rumor spreader, and a trouble starter, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised when they don't open up to you. Don't be surprised when they don't invite you to the social events. Don't be surprised when you're not on the guest list for the next party because they've seen you to be a backbiter, a gossiper, a rumor, trouble starter. I'm telling you all. But guess what they would do? If they ever have to go to court and they want somebody to lie and perjure themselves and offer false information under oath, they'll call you because they've seen you do it. Don't get mad at people for treating you like the thing that you've presented in front of them. Why? Let's be better. Let us restore our dignity. Let us redeem our integrity so that people won't call us into compromising situations. Let's think better of ourselves. That is the takeaway. The takeaway and the moment of motivation is that there's always an opportunity to redeem our character, to restore my integrity. Absolutely. All you all, I only have 1,800 seconds and I got caught up on that one and sharing with you all some of my Southern sayings. Listen, we're talking from this book here, Billboards to Better. Again, if you haven't done so, please go ahead and do a thumbs up on this conversation. And if you're new to our to this platform and this conversation tonight, do me a favor, go ahead and subscribe and click on that bell. The bell just lets you know whenever we are offering or whenever I'm uploading new content or whenever I'm live, like I am tonight. All right, we're gonna go on. I'm gonna go on to December the 8th. Our quote for this evening, December the 8th. Live like the hen. It is so good to see all of you all here. Absolutely, restore our character, restore our dignity. December the 8th, you all. This is a parable. Live like the hen who never knows what's inside her egg. I'm going somewhere. This is country tonight, you all. Live like the hen who never knows what's inside her egg. What does she do? Wait, incubate, and then celebrate. Wait, incubate, and then celebrate. I'm telling you all, here comes stuff tonight. Why? Because my great grandparents, they raised chickens. So I know a little bit about hens and what they do, you all. And as I wrote this, I wrote this based on some things that I do know. I wrote this because for a greater part of my life, you all, I was engaged in the habit of wanting to know the details of God's plan. I needed to know, wanted to know everything. Why? Because I was not born, if I can be transparent, I was not born with a silver spoon in my mouth. And there were some trying times and there were some trying days. So I figured in my own little mind, I figured that if God would tell me about the upcoming details, that's all I need to know. Why? So I could figure and I could plan and I could prepare for the hardships and the heartache so that it wouldn't be so hard. I figured that if I had insight as to what was coming, I could prepare to celebrate the good and brace myself for the bad. That was my thinking. I mean, if I were going to hurt, I wanted to know how many bandages did I need to buy. If I was going to fail, I wanted to know how many times should I try before I just give up. I wanted to know all of this. Even if I was going to win, if I was going to succeed, I wanted to know how long would my celebration last before another heartache would come. I wanted to know all of that because I could not deal with the changing dynamics and the transitions of life. It was a lot because I figured if life has been bad, God, just tell me when more bad is coming. Just tell me how short of a space, how short of a time the good will last. You see the kind of psyche that you go through when you're trying to know everything? That was all the psychological trauma and the psychological maneuvering I was trying to go through because I wanted to know how life was going to work out for me. I wanted to know how to handle, how could I brace myself for the bad that was coming, and how could I know how to release the good, because in my mind it was not going to last always. But what I discovered It's learning to live like the hen. I'll get to it in just a moment, you all. I'll get to it in just a moment, because what I discovered was that I cannot make God tell me anything. No matter how much I prayed, no matter how much I asked him, I could not make him tell me anything. And whether it's called prophecy, whether it's called whether it's called insight, whether it's called intuition, there were some things that I would not know until I experienced them. Just wouldn't know it. So, one of the most valuable lessons that life has taught me is not necessarily that I have to trust the process, but I have to trust the God who is over the process. Y'all hang on. I don't have a whole lot of seconds left tonight, because learning to trust God is like living like a hen who lays an egg. There are some times that we endure pain for the sake of purpose. This hen laying an egg is not comfortable. I've never laid an egg, but I've been around hens enough who do it to know that they're in pain and trauma. So there's sometimes that we endure pain for the sake of purpose, and then all we can do, my goodness, all we can do is wait, hope, and trust. And sometimes when you're waiting and you're hoping and you're trusting, you find it difficult to move. So when I talk about the hen who incubates, sometimes all the hen would do is just sit there and not even move. Not even move. And while we seem to be paralyzed and stuck, we have to trust that God is working on our behalf. We've got to trust that he's working on our behalf. It's like the egg that the hen has laid. Can't see behind the shell, cannot see inside it, but we've got to trust that God is doing something behind the scenes, that's going to give life to the pain that we are now dealing with. Got to live life like the hen who lays the egg. Trust that God is fully capable of giving life to the thing, even the thing that just causes us pain. Got to trust him. Trust that God loves me too much. And you all hear this, this is my personal narrative. Trust that God loves me too much to let me go through hardship and suffering, not to make it work out for my good. So then, I stopped needing to know all of the details. I stopped needing to know all of the details. Knowing the detail was not important, because what happens, you all, I found it more wise and I found it more prudent just to trust. I really did, because what I have discovered about the trusting process is that while I'm waiting, God is renewing. And while I'm waiting, God is strengthening me. And you all, I told you I wanted to make this relevant, and I got to do with these 1800 seconds, you all. We're getting ready for the holiday season. And some of us don't even know what the next few weeks are going to look like. And we're going through the mental and the emotional pain and agony of not being able to plan. But I encourage you to sit on the egg and trust that God is working some things out. We've been in this quarantine situation and this physically distant situation and some socially distant situation for now 10 months. And some of us have developed anxieties. And if the truth be told, some of us have lapsed into these moments of depression and discouragement. But if I can offer you all anything this evening, it is the ability to sit on the egg and know that even in the midst of your emotional and psychological pain, God is fully capable of working behind the eggshell. He is. And although we can't see into the shell, God is sustaining us. God is keeping us. God is renewing us. I've encountered more and more people, you all, who've lost loved ones either because of COVID or during the COVID pandemic. And if there's anything that strips away your ability to be strong, it's death. And with over 283,000 deaths here in America due to COVID, I know we're finding it difficult to sit still. I know we're finding it difficult to sit still like the hen, but may I offer us another perspective tonight. As we're sitting in the midst of our pain, And while we cannot see through the eggshell, may we trust that God is working some things out that we know not of. And I may not have the best vision. You all know because I come up here every Tuesday and Thursday with these glasses on. I may not have the best vision, but you can't beat me trusting God. And my trust tells me that a day is coming when our celebration will allow us to say this, and it came to pass. Let's learn to wait, incubate, and celebrate. Wait and let God give life to the thing that He wants to give life to. You all, you have been with me for 1800 seconds. It has been my pleasure to be with you in whatever space you've allowed me to share. I'm going to close by reading a very short poem that I wrote in my book, Thoughts Keep Flowing. It simply says, there when I need you. I prosper through my problems and I flourish through my failures because you are there. You make life worth living and you keep giving and giving and giving even when I don't deserve to get. So I win in spite of woes. I find favor with my foes because you're there. When I seal my lips and say nothing, shh, you hear me and you are there. So I dance over dismay and run through a rainy day because you are there. I forget to regret and I recall that you are all that I would ever need. So I joy in my sorrow, longing for tomorrow because you are already there. You all, until Thursday, I want you to continue building community, maintaining connectivity. Keep your heads up, keep your hopes up, stay safe, stay sane, and tell somebody that we're meeting here every Tuesday, every Thursday, and we're talking and we're sharing from a place of love, a place of encouragement, and a place of motivation. Much love to you all. I will see you Thursday. Good night.